Hello, I'm David. We are live in Hobbycraft Stockport. I'm here with the very lovely Stephanie Weightman of Tattered Lace fame. We are going to be talking all things tattered lace for the next sort of 15 minutes. You're going to show us a couple of projects.
Yes.
And feel free to kind of get involved. As yesterday, if you were watching them with Susie, we are live in store, so there's lots going on around us. So if you hear anything in the background and you miss anything, let us know, comment below, and we will repeat ourselves. But for now, I'm going to hand over to Stephanie and her projects.
Thank you. And you can see I'm already made a start. And I came with the project in mind. And then when I got here, I got shown some amazing brand new Hobbycraft papers. So I've got to share them with you because they've been the inspiration for me to change my project so that I can show you something else. And the thing that caught my eye, well, there were two in particular, but then David teased me and brought me a load more. But in particular, these Ombre Pads. And you can see that the colours just rainbow beautifully. And I love the way they go from light to dark. So I looked at them and thought, these are going to make a fabulous scene for the dies that I'm working with. So I've got some tattered lace dies, and I've chosen a couple of fairies to work with. And although I plan to put the fairies in a scene and keep it in the shape of the die, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. This is what it looks like if I hold it up like this.
These are tattered lace dies.
So this is a tattered lace die. So I plan to put this on a card as it is, but what I want to show you is I want to show you how we can snip into it, how we can create a totally different looking scene, and we can build these ombre pads into it. But before we do that and start it, I've got to just share this watercolour pad with you. They're only £5 and these are only £10. And the new Papercrafting range in the store is absolutely fabulous. So definitely I'm shopping after this. But I love this. And I was torn between, because this looks very ethereal, I thought this would look fabulous with the fairies. But I'm really taken with what I've chosen. So let's take a look at this. So the first thing that I've done is, and I'm thinking about the scene before I start to build my card. And can I just say, excuse the mess, this is how I like to work. I feel really happy when it's like this. It was a little bit too clean when I first got here, and I'm feeling much more comfortable. So I've already prepared a card blank, and this is just a regular square card. You can buy card blanks or you can make your own. This one's just 5 by 5. And I've put a circle in the centre, and I also did some matting and layering. Now, you've got two ways of doing this, because when you mat and layer a square onto the front of a square card, if you've already cut the circle out, it's quite difficult to actually line it up and get an even border all the way around. So if you choose a pretty card, and for instance, these are some more of these beautiful papers. So if you were to choose one from one of this pad.
How many papers do you get in that pack? Sorry,
well, in this one, these are 6 by 6, and I've got to check that. You're getting 48 sheets, and it's 180 GSM, so it's exactly the right. Well, it's the right weight if you want to go through 2 layers on your die cutting machines. Now, just a little tip about die cutting machines, because there are so many to choose from, and of course, I love my baby blue because it's portable. I can put it in my handbag. I've actually got more than one, if I'm honest, because they're so inexpensive, and they're a great deal here at Hobbycraft at the moment. In fact, David, can you remember the price of those?
That one is £29 at the moment.
Yeah, so £29. It's absolutely brilliant. But what you do need to do is think about the size of dies you want to work with, how often you're going to use the machine. So that's a great portable machine to use every day. Maybe you're working at your craft desk, you don't want to get your big machine out, you want to make flowers. Brilliant. But then if you do want to go on to the next level, I can't recommend this one highly enough. And this is actually a Hobbycraft owned brand. And they've really taken some time to get some weight into it so that it sits sturdily on your counter and your work surface. And I've actually been using that one while I've been crafting this morning. And this one is actually also on a special price as well.
So this one's £50.
Yeah, and that's a great price because that's going to do your embossing and your die cutting. So we've already, just to recap on here, so if you choose a paper, something less than 220 GSM, and you cut the square and you put it onto the front of the card, cut the circle afterwards. So all of your very essential dies, so plain circles, squares, will cut through about 300 to 400 GSM with the right machine. And the other thing about it that is really important is that way you can line it up and you can make sure that you get exactly the right border everywhere. And then I'd like to give you another top tip. So, you know, sometimes when you're die cutting, and these are new plates, but the plates are a little bit worn and there's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what we would expect to happen. So you start to get this effect. So you get sort of like it gets cloudy. What can happen is that these little marks can leave an impression on your cardstock. Now, if you're somebody who wants everything absolutely pristine and you're not putting an insert in, we need to do something about that. So all you do is imagine that this is my circle die, so that's there. I put my card down, I put a piece of the lightest weight copy of paper that I've got before I put this on top, and that will stop any of those little marks transferring onto your card. So that's a great little tip for you. And if you have just joined us, hello, it's really good to have your company. David can't get a word in edgeways.
Absolutely fine. So, as mentioned, we are live in our Stockport store today. So, lots of people already watching around us, actually. So, Stephanie is currently talking all things tattered lace and die cutting. If you do have any questions, feel free to send them through and just comment below. And we've got a couple of first-time watchers. We've got Brenda, who's saying hi, and she loves tattered lace dies.
Hi, Brenda. It's good to hear from you. And do you know the thing about tattered lace dies, and you'll see this as we start to look at them in more detail, they are incredibly detailed. So we put a non-stick coating on them to help the release, and then always plan that you can do more than one thing. So let me get on to what I want to show you. So I've taken these ombre pads and I'm just going to tear this one. And I love that it's got a white core because we could ink that if we chose, we could put some glitter on there, but it looks fabulous. I'm now going to put this to the bottom of this piece of orange card. And, see, David, you thought you were just there to look pretty.
No.
Can you just stick
I was hoping to.
that,
Stick that on, yeah.
to this for me? I just literally need some tape around it. It goes on the bottom. Okay, everyone, so what I've already done is I've taken, where is it gone? My little die. Is under here somewhere.
This is where you need nails.
This is where you need to remember what you've done with things. Do you know, I once was doing a demonstration and I had the die and it had stuck to the bottom of the card, and I remember picking the card up thinking, that card's really heavy. It's great quality. And then it was the weight of the die underneath. Right, so I've got a piece of black
Which
card.
was your top? Did you want the light at the top or the...
No, the dark, please.
There we go.
We're going to go nighttime. So what I've done is I've got just a piece of cardstock here, and I'm going to show you how to snip into things. I'm going to move that out of the way now.
So we've got some new viewers just joining us now. So
hi,
hello,
everybody.
We are live in our Stockport store. So lots of people lots of people here with us today. Lots of noise in the background. So if you do miss anything we're saying, just comment below and we'll repeat it. So if you've missed any of Stephanie's tips or suggestions, let us know, and Stephanie will do her best to answer those for you.
And we can always repeat something. Right, so I've got a piece of silver mirror card. Now, I only want this part of the die. It has still got some waste in it from a previous cut. So I'm just going to use the little holes on the back and poke out those pieces. And my pokey tool, which I could never be without, is just going to let me get those out. So I'll just get rid of that.
Just a question actually, so just whilst you're poking those out,
Yeah.
So Christy asks, can these be used for anything other than paper crafting?
Yes, they are certified food safe, so
Okay.
the coating on them is actually a food safe coating. It's similar to the ones that you get on cooking pans. So yes, they can. And if you use them with a metal shim, you can also cut fabric from them. But I would avoid having something that has got terribly fine lines. So something like the chain on here, I would be very careful with, perhaps put a stiffener on the back of it to make sure that that cuts and comes out the die cleanly. You don't want the fibres of the fabric to break as you're taking it out.
And then you mentioned food safe, so what sort of things would you be cutting with them for if you were using them with food?
Oh, icing sheets.
Icing sheets.
And imagine being able to make a birthday card and then the party and do it all with a die so it's themed. So you send the invitations, you decorate the party, and then you actually use the other elements as well. Right, I just want to show you this. So this is a piece of waste, and if I just get... I cut that there. So it's a piece that I've used to cut. Now, the good thing about the way the tattered lace dies are, and they're designed so that, I've already mentioned, the paper comes or card comes out easily. In a die, instead of it being a right angle where, and this raised area here is actually the blade, and some people find it hard to sort of comprehend that because when you touch it, it doesn't cut.
It's not sharp, is it?
Not at all. But it uses, imagine an old-fashioned mangle. So we put the card against, the die against a piece of card, and then the pressure of those rollers actually push the two together and cut into it. But you do get a difference when you cut with it from the black to the top or the white to the top. But it's minimised with the tattered lace dies, so you can actually flip your dies and get mirror images, and that's a really useful thing to know when we want to create something where we've got a pair or a couple. Okay, so I've got my die, and I just want to cut another one of these little castles, and I don't need the whole die, so I'm just going to put my cardstock over that small area there. I'm going to put
That's very clever actually, because I guess then you'll show you've got more than one use for each of your dies as well.
Absolutely, and I'm then going to take the base plate and we put our cutting plate over the top, and then that's ready to go into our, oops, no, let me just tell you and explain what I've just done wrong. This amazing machine comes with 2 of the B plates, so I actually need to use my C plate there and put that back on, and 1 B plate. So I had 2 B plates and then slightly thinner than the C plates. This is the combination you're going to use when you're doing your embossing.
So explain just a little bit. So we've got the extra sheet there,
Yes.
that's slightly thicker,
Yeah.
and the reason is that obviously you get different size dies.
Yes, you get different size dies, but also don't think about the different sizes of material that you get as well. So, and also we've got embossing folders. Now, embossing folders, for anybody who hasn't seen one, are little plastic folders that you put your card in, and it gives you a beautiful embossed finish. So that's already cut, so I'm just going to take this out of my die. You can see how easily that popped out. And there's a few little pieces here that I'm just going to push out, and then I'm ready to start building my scene, which is really, this is what's quite the exciting part. So I need to cut off these stars, but I want to save those, so I've cut those off. Now, this princess and fairy has gone from living in quite a modest castle, and she's about to upgrade.
It's getting an extension.
She's having an extension, that's right. So we've got our colour ready. This is going to sit behind our aperture. I'm now going to start to build my castle, but I felt like this was a little bit lost, just having the 1 castle, so hence the reason for cutting 2. So we'll put the extension on, so I'm going to take those little stars off.
So we have 2 more questions, or actually 3, sorry, just
okay.
popped through. So we've got Hayley is asking, she's just started making her own cards.
Okay.
Do you have any tips for beginners, and what sort of dies you might use the most to start building your collection?
Well, I think if you like things like, the first thing to do is to choose a theme. So flowers, you have to get flowers, Hayley, because think about how much money you can save from making your own, but also you then get something that's colour coordinated with the rest of your card, and I think that's an even bigger point. So florals are absolute must. Sentiments are the next thing, because sentiments are really hard. If you are somebody like myself who doesn't like their own writing, or it's not particularly neat, then again that's something else that really finishes off a card. So I would say my first 2 purchases would be floral and sentiments, and then after that I would start to look at the choice of dies and choose a theme.
So when you say sentiments, you mean things like happy birthday,
Absolutely.
congratulations?
Yes, and start off with something like congratulations or best wishes, because they're going to be ones that you can use time and time and time again. I'm just going to show you how I'm going to build up the extensions. It's a bit quicker than getting a builder in. So I've got 2 of the little castles that I've got, and if I just put them there you can see them. And when I overlap them, the turret on either castle will overlap perfectly. So I've got some fine detail glue. Just going to put a tiny bit of glue on, and a little bit there.
She's slightly overlapping them there.
So I'm actually going to put them directly on top of each other, so that one turret, or the 2 turrets, are going to become one, like that. So we've now got a double tower, and then that's not enough because she lives in a posh house. So we need some more turrets in the background.
So thank you to those who's just joined us.
Hi,
We are
everybody.
live in Hobbycraft Stockport, so lots of people here around us, lots of customers shopping in the store as well, so lots of noise in the background there too. If you can't hear what we're saying, please do just let us know, and we will try and improve the sound. But also, if you've missed any of Stephanie's tips, we'll repeat those too. Barbara is asking what is the name of the new machine. So this machine is the Hobbycraft die cutting machine, so that's what it's called, and that's online and in store, so you can either ask a colleague in store and they can point you in the right direction, or if you just go onto the website and put the Hobbycraft die cutting machine into the search bar, you should be able to find that on the Hobbycraft website. And also we've got the baby blue over there, and the baby blue is the Tattered Lace kind of portable die cutting machine, you'd call it, wouldn't you?
So I'm just going to put a little bit more of the adhesive on here, and you'll see how I love this. This is what I love
that
about
all dries clear, doesn't it?
It does, and that's what I love so much about Tattered Lace, is the variety, the versatility, and how you can completely change the design. So if I just show you now, so here is the original castle. So you can see it's really quite small. And now look at this super duper extension. So all I've done is I've cut 3 out. So I've cut 1 on each side and overlapped them down the middle. And then the 3rd one I placed over the top and just positioned it so that it was slightly raised and the turrets are a little bit higher up. So now when I look at this, I feel like that's a castle worthy of having a fairy in there, and it's ready for me to build my scene. It also means that I can start to hide part of it behind my aperture. So instead of having to feel I've got to have it in the middle because it's not filling enough space, I can hide it behind the aperture and then be really happy with the results I've got there. So I'm going to place this on here, and earlier I cut myself a little moon so that we could create a silhouette as if we've got a sunset. So just got to make sure that the turret's level because it's a bit wonky.
We've got Karen who's watching in store. So
Hi Karen. Hi.
And we've also got a couple more questions. We've got, what's your favourite project, which might be a hard one for you.
Oh, project. Oh, the one I'm doing at the time. I think it is really hard because, do you know, you get so absorbed in everything that you're doing, and even while you're working, you're thinking of other things. I mean, I've just started this one, and already I'm thinking I could be putting clouds above, in front of the moon, so I could be creating more of a silhouette. You can hear the little ones in the background shopping. Yeah, it's great because we've got some little ones starting to craft. But the big thing about all projects is you get so engrossed in them, so whatever I'm doing at the time. And I talk a lot, which you guys have probably worked out.
And then I know that you're going to still be making this card, but we've got Barbara says she's got a cut and emboss machine and she's found it big to use for small dies. So what machine would you suggest to use?
Baby blue.
The baby blue.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, if you're looking for something that's portable, that's great for working with small dies, then absolutely your baby blue. And Barbara, I hope that helps. And while I'm cutting, because what I've done to make this scene the right size, I've pushed it up to the fold inside, so I know that that's level. I've used the top of the piece of cardstock as the guide up here, and then I'm using the edge of my greeting card to make sure that I get this perfectly level. And can I just mention that Hobbycraft have got some great half-price deals on card blanks at the moment, so now's the time to go and stock up. So now I've started to, if I just put that, whoops, got a little bit of glue there, I don't want, just going to pop that in there. But you can see how we've started to build our scene. So we've taken a die that has a castle on the side and a fairy and completely transformed it. So this might be now that you put some butterflies around there, so it might be butterflies just fluttering past, or you can I can take my fairy and I can put her somewhere else. Now I saved a few of the stars, so, and I haven't stuck this down. I would be sticking this down much more carefully if I was doing this at home. But I saved some of these stars, and I saved them because I didn't want them against the fairy. But can you see how they're going to be the finishing touch by having them coming out from behind the moon? So there isn't a fairy in sight, but we've created something that's completely different. Little sentiment down here, and it would look fabulous. And the thing about Tattered Lace is, when you get your dies, please look into them. Don't think, oh, that's got to be whatever it is. It can be something completely different. Let's say, for instance, we want to make this lovely fairy into just a really pretty young girl who loves a little bit of sparkle in her life. So all I'm going to do is take away the castle and her fairy wings, and we've now got somebody who is just full of sparkle. And that's the kind of thing that you should be doing, and that's where your value for money is. So for anybody who's choosing dies for the first time, when you get them home, cut them out a few times, and don't be scared to just snip into them. So this die goes from being inside the card to being just the girl with her magic or her sparkle, to a card where we've got a castle that's with an extension.
Excellent. So we've got a few more questions that have been coming through. So we've got Donna asks, how long on average does it take from the time you design a die set to it getting to be manufactured?
Wow, that's a really good question. Okay, so the least amount of time I can do it in is 8 weeks.
That's very quick.
That's amazingly quick. But if I tell you that I'm working on projects for 2018 at the moment, some of the projects, I've got a project that we're just working on that's about to come to fruition. It's taken me 2 years. So a die design can be quite quick. It depends how many times I change it. That's probably the truth.
But you just want to make sure that they're perfect before they go to manufacture.
Absolutely. And just to give you an idea of how the process works, because lots of people are really interested in this. So, and they say, where do your ideas come from? Well, I keep a sketch pad by the side of the bed, and a little torch that my husband bought me. And he's turned the light down on the side of it, but I turn it up because I can't see at night. And then he'll wake up in the night and go, what are you doing? I was like, and I'll say, I'm just putting my earplugs in because you're snoring. Actually, I'm drawing. So I keep a notepad there. I sometimes, if I'm in the car, I'll ring the office and say, can you just write down, oh gosh, let me think of one that I've done recently. Never think of something when I'm thinking. But what I'll do is I'll give them words. So it'll be hillside, baby lambs, Chatsworth. And that's enough for me to remember that I saw something about that scene that made me think I wanted to make a die. Or I'll take a photograph of something. Or fabrics. They're a great place for inspiration, especially doing lace. So I trawl the charity shops for old pieces of lace. And then I'll start off by sketching it. And as my team have got better and better at interpreting the sketches, then my sketches have got less and less details. So they now, one or two of them will come and go. Sometimes I get something, I think, well, did I really draw that? And then what we do is we've got a really big, huge, in fact it's bigger than we are, laser cutting machine. So the computer sends the design to the laser cutting machine. I can cut it out in exact detail as they will be produced and manufactured. Then I can get that design, I can snip into it, make the changes, redesign elements of it, change the size, take pieces out, and then repeat the process again. So we know that when it goes into manufacture, what actually comes out from the die will be exactly what you want.
Excellent.
So that part of it that bit's the longest bit. The
very
manufacturing's quite quick, you know, it's a really fast process. But yeah, that's the fun bit.
Excellent.
Sorry, I have to craft at the same time.
We've got viewers in Canada. So
Oh wow!
hello to
Hi
Margaret.
everybody. Hi Margaret.
We've got also whilst we're live here in Stockport with Stephanie, we also have demonstrations taking place across the country in 87 stores. So we've actually just had the team from Greenwich and Northampton say that they're also tuning in and enjoying the demonstration. So
Hi Greenwich. Hi everybody.
Christine asks, what made you start doing your own designs and the inspiration to go global with those designs?
One of the reasons that I design a lot of the things that we do is because it's something that I would like to craft with. So having had years and years of crafting, you can imagine I've got a pretty full craft room, but you can never have everything you want, and there's always something else that you are thinking of that you think, oh, that would be really good if I could have that. So it might be, I had a new grandson a couple of years ago, so that was the inspiration to do baby cards. And you guys are great. You ring and email and message me and Facebook and even through Hobbycraft, and I get, can you just do, in fact, while I've been in the store, had a request to do because we were looking at unicorns. We're saying, oh, couldn't we do a phoenix or a pegasus with wings? And actually, I have just done that.
So that answers another question. So Carla says, have you got any new designs coming?
Yeah, where do you want me to start? I've just done, when we started right at the very beginning, I did a range of Japanese style designs, and I think now looking back on them, I've learnt so much about die cutting, and also the industry is changing. So I've just done a new range of Japanese dies. They're not ready to launch quite yet, but I've just finished designing those. And then I love the fairies. I'm really, I don't think there's a die that I'm not proud of, because every one of them has a little bit of me in it. So yeah, I love doing them. But coming up next, gosh, I think, watch this space.
Have you got any Christmas dies
Oh
coming
gosh, yes. Already Christmas. I've been waiting for Christmas to start. So, of course, we do Christmas in June, July.
Yeah, Christmas starts very early for papercrafters.
Absolutely. And people say, why do you need to start it so early? Well, if you imagine how many cards, if you've had a handmade card from somebody and then the next year they don't give you one, you feel absolutely gutted. You think, what have I done wrong to not get a handmade card?
We've got Gianna asking which machine you would suggest for a beginner. So I think already you mentioned that the baby blue is great for sort of a portable crafting on the go. That's £29. We've also got the Hobbycraft own brand die cutting machine, which Stephanie, you were saying it's got a good weight to it. It can cut most dies.
And it's a really sturdy machine. So if you're looking for something that has got is sort of really meaty and is quite it's relatively portable, but it's also going to be really sturdy on the table, that's an absolute must-have.
Excellent. And that one's £50.
Yeah.
We are live, so if you did just hear that clattering and banging, that is just somebody using the stairs nearby. So we are live in Stockport. Stephanie, you have already created one card in front of us, but I can see you snipping away there.
I am, and what I'm doing here is, this is again, it would be easy for me to just take the dies as they are and create a simple card from them. But I want to show you all the different things and the extra things that you can do. So what I've been quietly doing while we've been chatting is I've got this pretty fairy die, and I'm just going to cut her out of a piece of cardstock so that you can see what she looks like. So I'm going to place her in the middle of this circle. Make sure that I get it the right way up because I don't want to put the print on my base plate. And the other thing that you can do is you could use a little bit of low-tack tape to just hold this in place.
So it doesn't slip.
So it doesn't slip. Yeah, or a magnetic sheet. But I am a little bit impatient, but also I have done this a few times. So, and you can see here, guys, this is such a quiet machine. It's going to be great when the children are in bed. I'm not even sitting in front of it, and it's easy to turn the handle. It's not taking any effort at all, and it cuts perfectly. Oh, I want to share with you a little tip now. This one hasn't gone wrong, but I want to show what happens when it does go wrong. So for anybody who is a regular person die cutting, you may recognise that when you come to lift this off, there's a little area on the die that hasn't cut through properly. What you need to do then is what we call a patch shim. Now, I don't want you to take a piece of card and cut it like this, because what that will do is where you've got this flat edge, it will actually mark your card. What we need to do is take a piece of card and tear it. So we've got some very excited children in here. I hope they're going to be crafters. So I've torn it, and then I've placed that over the patch where it hasn't cut. Now, quite a few people think that you could place a shim over the whole thing, but it's that one area of the die that's flexing. So if you place the piece of card over the whole die, it isn't going to solve that one little area. So that's how you would solve anything not cutting perfectly. So just going to lift that out.
And we've got a couple more questions, but I do know that we are short on time. So if you do have any questions, please pop them through now, because we've probably only got a few minutes left really of Facebook Live today. So the questions we have are, Bernadette says, for a first person starting in die cutting, would you suggest the baby blue or the Hobbycraft one? I know you have mentioned earlier sort of, you know, either or could be good. It depends on the sort of die cutting you want to do.
And the size of the dies you want to work with. I would say, I'm pretty sure you'll get bitten by the bug. So much as it pains me to say don't have a baby, go for the Hobbycraft machine, because you will have more versatility with the width of the mouth. Then, once you are bitten by the bug and you want something that you can sit on your knee or maybe take to a friend's, get your baby blue. Having said that, if your budget allows, the machines are both amazing prices at the moment.
So that's £29 for the baby blue and £50 for the Hobbycraft.
Yes, and this is normally £49, so you know that's a really great deal. Now, just very quickly before we do have to finish, there's my beautiful little fairy. And what I've been doing is I've been cutting and snipping off her skirt. And now, when I turn them round like this, I've left a little bit of her leg there. If I put this here, you can see how I'm ending up with little flowers. And what I've done is I've taken her wings and I'm using the wings as leaves. So my fairy is no longer a fairy. I'm now creating myself a little bouquet of flowers. And, you know, guys, play with these dies, snip into them, not just your Tattered Lace dies, but all of them. And go back into your stash and have a look at them with fresh eyes, because you'll find so many fabulous things you can do.
Excellent. So we've got one last question.
Yeah.
So, where's it gone there? So Vanessa says she has the big blue electronic machine.
Yeah.
She loves it, but where can she purchase replacement A plates from?
Okay, now I don't know whether we have them on the Hobbycraft website.
Off the top of my head, I don't know. So what we can do for that question is we will have a look online for you and speak to the buyer and get those questions answered.
Yeah.
And for any other questions that are coming through, just because we're running out of time here, we will go back after we've come off air and we will reply to you, and Stephanie will help me, hopefully, answer any remaining questions. So I just want to say thank you very much, Stephanie, for coming to Stockport today.
Thank you, guys. And oh, listen, there's still loads of people here, so we're going to have a blast.
So, and thank you all for coming along to watch,
Yeah.
and thank you for watching at home. And we will see you next Thursday from Reading store, where we'll be talking all things intricate.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.